Retired Ekurhuleni Deputy Chief of Police Revo Spies will continue with his testimony at the Madlanga Commission. The commission is looking into allegations of criminality, corruption and political interference in the criminal justice system. Spies' evidence before the commission has demonstrated links between EMPD Deputy Police Chief Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi and attempted murder accused Misuse Madlanga. For more on this now, let's take you to SABC News anchor Ayanda Nyathi, who's at the Madlanga Commission in Pretoria for us. So, Ayanda, what should we expect from the commission today?
Hello again, Mkolisi. So we spent a considerable amount of time zoning in on the alleged interference at a municipal level with the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department in sharp focus, and we're expecting much of that to continue today when Revo Spies, the former EMPD official, takes to the stand once again. That should be in about 7 minutes or so. Hopefully he'll get us a better sense of the extent of this interference and the implications that this has had for fighting crime at a municipal level. Remember, this inquiry is trying to get to the bottom of just how far down these alleged politically connected people went into the body politic of the SAPS, so to speak. Helping us now to try and make sense of the legal considerations that ought to be made is Emmanuel Nyathi. He is an advocate with Mudau and Nyathi attorneys. It's great to see you, Third. Thanks very much for braving the blazing sun with us here as we wait for today's commission or processes to start. Let's speak about some of the legal concerns that come up for you when you hear that a citizen, quite frankly, has had access to the kind of, let's call it, influence that someone like Misuse Madlanga apparently had. We're talking, these blue lights that were apparently attached to some of his vehicles. At some stage, we're told that, his motorcade was seen on the tarmac of an airport, raising serious security concerns. In your own line of experience, legally, what comes up?
Thank you very much, sir, for having me. It without doubt brings the institution or the justice system into disrepute, because once the members of the public loses confidence because of matters such as this one on the justice system, then now it affects the whole processes of prosecution, of investigation, because the society will have lost trust. It is a very concerning matter. However, on a legal part of it, it is also worrying that you will agree with me that it is a matter of record that what gave rise to these privileges given to members of the public is as a result of some sort of a memorandum of understanding. Then from the legal point of view, now that this matter has come out, it is now the responsibility of the department concerned to bring a legal action at the High Court level to have that memorandum declared invalid and set aside.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, part of what was explained, and I'll really give a summarized version, is that apparently Misuse Madlanga's company came forward and said, look, we can offer you technology and other crime-fighting efforts in exchange for these blue lights, and this is what is encapsulated in these memoranda of understanding. The question, of course, is whether or not the agreement itself is lawful.
That is an issue. The agreement itself, it is without any doubt that it is unlawful, because to begin with, the city of Ekurhuleni Metropolis Department does not have those mandate to conclude such agreement. Even if it does, which it does not have, that mandate will be unlawful by the look of things, given that it cannot give rise to powers which are only reserved for police officials or law officers. In this case, it will have exceeded the scope of what the public officials or private citizens can be given in a form of a memorandum of agreement. Then it will be without any doubt be declared null and void.
Yeah. Since we're speaking about some of these lawful and unlawful contracts, part of what we've also heard is that Julius Mkhwanazi, who apparently has been pulling the strings for Misuse Madlanga, also took a moment to hire a whole host of people while his boss was on suspension, or I think on leave. There's real questions, of course, about what happens to those employment contracts if, in fact, the allegations that were leveled here are anything to go by. Essentially, what we've heard is that a whole host of people were brought into the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department in order to create the system of patronage, apparently, that will enable, the likes of Misuse Madlanga to get the privileges they get. If that is proven to be true, what happens to those people who I imagine are still within the employ of the EMPD?
Thank you very much. From the labor law point of view, those contracts are valid up until set aside, but there is a remedy. If indeed evidence shows that there was some irregularities, the Ekurhuleni Department or Metro Police Department can approach the Labour Court or the High Court, because both the Labour Court and the High Court has concurrent jurisdiction on this matter, and apply for the setting aside of those contracts which has been concluded illegally. Then upon such time that the High Court declares those contracts invalidly entered into, those people are still validly employed. But once the court revisit the contract and set the contract aside on the basis of irregularity, that is then that will mean the end of the irregular appointments that has taken place.
And what do we make of the decisions that were taken by those people, if in fact it is found that they were appointed irregularly? Are any of those decisions binding in any way?
The decisions are not binding because in terms of the principle of law, government entity or organ of a state are allowed to revisit their own decisions if they were marred by irregularities and have them set aside. It is just a matter of that up until they are set aside, they've got a legal status and binding. But the good thing is the law affords government to approach the court to revisit those decisions given the irregularity. Then they can be set aside in terms of the law.
All right, Advocate Nchipisa, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. I understand the commissioners are now walking in as we anticipate for day 27 of the Madlanga Commission to get underway. The time is exactly 29 minutes after 9 o'clock. All things considered, we're about to begin with Revo Spies once again back on the hot seat. Let's take a listen.
Started on Friday. We had dealt with the last paragraph at page 6, at the bottom of page 6. And we ended our conversation around the blue lights issue. You recall that?
Correct, Commissioner.
Before we start a new topic, I thought perhaps to establish from you, in your experience, how prevalent is this problem of quote-unquote misuse of blue lights? Was this the sole incident? Are there other incidents you may want to bring to the attention of the Commission? Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. It is definitely not the sole incident. It's still occurring. Even though I've retired from Ekurhuleni Metro Police, my old officers still have contact with me. They phoned me 2 weeks ago to explain the exact same incident where on the N12 highway, a vehicle, black BMW with blue lights, was stopped by an officer. This officer did a radio inquiry, and after he did the radio inquiry, all went quiet. And then when they did the inquiry on the vehicle itself, the vehicle was let go, but the vehicle itself belongs to a company with the name of Calvin and Family, which is a private security firm situated in the East Rand. So this is still prevalent.